All right, Cowboys fans, we're here. It's week 18. We're fixing to do the Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington Commanders podcast. My counterpart's not here tonight, so I'm going to do it by myself. What we're looking at is Dallas has to win pretty much to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs, with the exception of the 49ers. They are the number one seed. We can be the number two seed. We have to beat the Commanders. And if the Eagles lose to the Giants, then we're there. So it is what it is. We control our own destiny, So the Cowboys have had hit and miss games all year. We haven't really been able to beat the good teams. I get that. So, we got to go out here tomorrow and show that we're capable of beating a bad team on the road, which may not be that easy. I mean, if we can't do it, then we can't do it. But you control your own destiny. This is Mike McCarthy. This is Dan Quinn. This is the guys we put all of our money and faith into to go out there and get us a win on the road. And you got two games at home, probably. If you win the first game at home, we'll probably play Green Bay, and then we'll have probably the Lions again in that debacle that we had last week. So, I mean, it's not a gimme. Anything's not a gimme, but the road's paved out here for the Cowboys to be pretty much in a better position than that they've been in years if they go take care of business and do their job. So I'm not really going to talk about a lot tonight. I mean, the statistics, all that shit don't matter. It don't matter anymore. So it's all about playoff games, playoff wins. Tomorrow you're in the playoffs. You're playing the Commanders, who haven't won but like 4 or 5 games. You ought to go out there and beat. You ought to go out there and beat them. But the last week of the season, they had a rookie quarterback named Sam Howell that come out there and put up 26, and I think we scored 8. So this week's going to be a challenge. I mean, every week's a challenge in the NFL. You can't never take anybody for granted. The Commanders and their coach is playing for something. They got a new owner. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do next year. Probably not going to be Ron Rivera there. So what we're looking at is the Cowboys have an opportunity to go in here and beat a bad team and have at least the first game home field advantage. And then with their home record, they should win that. So they should have a second game home field advantage. And then the third game would be either if somebody upsets the 49ers, then you got a third game at home, which would be the NFC Championship game. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, this whole league, it's not just our team. The whole league's so hit and miss. We should have beat Miami. I mean, they're not a good team. They're really not. The Bills will beat them tomorrow night to win the division. I guarantee it. You heard it here first. But the Cowboys have really good players in a position to win really big games, and sometimes they just don't get the job done, So, Cowboys fans, we're here live, Cowboys Unfiltered. You can follow us. Excuse me. You can do anything, but at the end of the day, the big goal is the Super Bowl. So you got to go out there and win games that you're supposed to win. And I don't think we did. We didn't beat Miami on the road. We didn't beat Buffalo on the road. We should have beat Buffalo, and they beat us like a drum. We can't beat teams on the road. So the only way that we can win games is at home. And we struggled against the Lions. So you're going to have a home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And you've got a chance to do at least 1 or 2 games, depending on where you are, what you win. And if you win those two, then you either have somebody upset San Francisco and you get the third game, the NFC Championship game at home, or you got to go to San Francisco, which is put you out of the playoffs 2 years in a row, beat you like a drum earlier this year. So do you take that and say, hey, somebody's got to figure this out? Like, how do we beat the Niners? I would think that's would be the case. But who knows? It's Dallas Cowboy football at its best. And we look at it like every week we don't know what's happening. Like, we got a good team. We score 40 at home. We didn't score 40 against the Lions. So now we're starting to get kind of figured out at home. We didn't score 40 against the Seahawks at home. They almost beat us. So now our home record is starting to get to where we win, but maybe we're not that good at home. Are we that good of a football team, or are we not? It's up to you guys. You leave messages, you leave your comments, whatever you say. We don't know. I don't know. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, but I'm not the coach. I'm not the owner. I don't know what we're doing. I thought we should have tried to sign Ndamukong. I thought we should have made a push for Dalvin Cook because Pollard's not the answer. Pollard is not running nothing like he did with Zeke, and we knew that was coming. I mean, if you're a Cowboys fan, you watch this shit for years, you know what's coming. You're featuring him as, the best back. But he wasn't the best back on the football team. The guy that grinds, the guy that goes hard-nosed, the guy that goes for the 3 and 4 yards, and we all got pissed off, and Zeke's not what he was. He ain't hurdling people. He's not running for 80 yards. That's not going to never last. So be realistic about what you wish for. And I know Zeke was going to make a bunch of money, and we had to release him because of caps casualties. But we signed a guy that's a defensive back, to a $90 million deal, and he hadn't played all year. That's Trayvon Diggs. So have we missed him? Is he worth $90 million? We don't know. I mean, is he that guy? Is he the Deion Sanders? Bland had a record-setting 6 picks or 5, whatever it was, and he's kind of been quiet. But I think they changed the way he had to play because he is a ball hawk, and he's going to get his. But when you play in these big games against these big receivers, like when we played against the Seahawks, Metcalf, I mean, you have to change the way he plays the game. You can't be a ball hawk. You got to go cover, So, I don't know. It's one of those things where, the Cowboys are good. They're a good football team. They put very much stock in drafting. They've drafted good players. But at the end of the day, are we there yet? I don't know if we're there yet. Dak's played better the last half of the season than I've probably ever seen Dak play. But at the same time, our defense, we give up a lot of running yards, and we can't run the ball. So that's not a good recipe going into playoffs. So I'll just reach out to you guys to put your word out there and say, hey, this is what I think. This is what I think we should do. I know what I think we should do. I think we should have signed a Dalvin Cook, maybe a Ndamukong, somebody to help stop the run and somebody to help run the ball. But we're not doing any of that. We're going to go with what we got, and we're going to see how it works out. And when we go to play the Rams, we already beat the Rams at home pretty handily. And then we're going to go play maybe Detroit again, Green Bay. Green Bay's always, I know they don't have Aaron Rodgers, but they've always given us fits. So we'll see how it works out. I don't have my counterpart here tonight to talk with y'all about this, so I'm not going to argue with anything. But you guys leave your comments. Tell me what you think. I think we've got a good opportunity to go far in the playoffs. Maybe even win the NFC Championship. Who knows? I mean, there's only one team that I'm scared of, and that's the 49ers. They put us out of the playoffs the last 2 years. They beat us like a drum earlier this year. But at what point do we figure it out? Figure out how to beat them? I don't know. Can we? Do we? I don't know. So you guys have a good evening. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Put your comments up on cowboysunfiltered.com, and we'll see how it goes. I don't know. We're going to see how it goes. And I think the Cowboys have a really good chance. I could see them going to the Super Bowl. I could see them also losing the first round. I don't know. It's just one of those things where you don't know. But we'll see how it goes. For Mike Fletcher, Bailey Fletcher, he's not here tonight. So long. Thank you for the podcast. Put your comments, subscribe, YouTube, whatever. We love you guys. See you later.
Let them know who you are. You know it's game time, cause all you see is blue stars. By far the most die hard. We rep it to the death. The star is so iconic, like Tom Landry silhouette. Pay them haters no mind. Boasted up that 09 to take us to the promised land. Now we'll be back in no time. It's go time. Adversaries start to worry on the